Hello my loves and welcome back to your favorite crochet channel. Today with this little mic because I had the worst flu ever and the worst Mandelentzündung of my life and my voice is still kinda sore. So I'm going to use this little mic today so I don't have to scream to the camera. Welcome back and welcome to the second part of this little tutorial series, a little beginner friendly series. And today we are crocheting these beautiful hand warmers matching to your maybe already crocheted beanie. If you haven't seen it yet, this was the last tutorial on my channel. If you want, you can check it out. And yeah, today we are crocheting the matching hand warmers, and these are made from the yarn of my upcoming yarn collection from my own brand called by BELINA. Oh, I still cannot believe that this is happening, but the next drop, the ocean drop, will be dropping on December the 2nd internationally, and there will be cute crochet sets with like cute written patterns and wonderful cute yarn colors that I chose by myself just for you, and I hope you like them. I'm a bit scared, but also excited. So I'm going to stop talking now and leave you to the tutorial. Enjoy and yeah, put on your favorite music and let's crochet together. Let's start with everything you need. You can use whatever type of cotton yarn that you want to use. I personally love to combine it with mohair. So of course I am using my own collection, the second drop of my by BELINA yarn. Oh, I'm still so obsessed with the colors. And we are crocheting matching hand warmers to the scarf and the balaclava or the beanie from the collection of the second drop. So it's in this scrappy look like this. So it matches the beanie and the scarf. So if you're coming from one of these tutorials, it's going to be similar to them, but we're using a different stitch because I want my hand warmers to be extra warm. And of course it needs to be stretchier than, for example, the scarf, but similar to the beanie. So you can use whatever yarn you want to use, whatever color combo, and depending on what size of a yarn you use, you can choose what size of a hook you want to use. I personally love to go with 4.5 millimeters. And you can decide, just like the beanie, if you want the yarn to be double layered. So you can either crochet with 2 strands of yarn mixed with mohair or only 1 strand of yarn mixed with mohair. It doesn't really make a difference, it's just like the preference. I'm going to go for only 1 strand of cotton mixed with mohair because for me 2 strands would be a bit too chunky for my tiny hands. So if you want it to be extra warm, take your cotton strand double layered. So let's start. Pick the first color that you want to use and start with a slip knot. If you're not familiar with the slip knot, I am going to show you how to do it. You can also check the description if you're a beginner. I have beginner friendly videos in the description. So for each stitch I am going to show it to you very detailed, but maybe if you're just starting to learn how to crochet, you can have a look in the description. So for my slip knot, I am going to take the end of my yarn and wrap it around my hand twice. So now my end is here. And I'm just going to pull it through this back loop, like this. Hold it here, and then hold the strand here and just pull tight, like this. I'm going to show you once again with your hook. You can hold the end of your yarn here, wrap it around your hand twice. If you have a look at the back, pull it through. You can also use your hook for this if it's easier for you. Pull it through, not completely, because now you want to take out your hand. And another trick, if you look at it from the top, it should look like a little pretzel. And then you can just
pull it tight. So start with your slip knot. I'm going to add a little bit of mohair to my cotton yarn because I love the look of it being a bit more fluffier. And again, like this, you can take it from the back, hold it here and pull it tight. And now you can also adjust it, like if you hold it here and just pull it tight, it's going to go up. If you hold it here and pull, it's going to be bigger, like the loop. You want it to be tight, so pull at the end of your yarn until it's loosely around your hook but not too big. And now I'm starting with my chain ups, which just means I'm going to take the yarn and pull it through and make sure that this loop is also tight. So you can adjust it with your finger to be always the same looseness, you know? So you have to be able to go like through the loops very easy, but also not like this. You know, because this is going to be a bit too loose, and if you do it too tight, crocheting in the next row will be very hard. So just remember to adjust the size of the loop that you're going through and chain up around 28. So I did my 28 chain ups, and you can put it on top of your hand to see how long your hand warmers are going to be in the end. It's going to be a bit shorter, but not a lot, just because we're adding our half double crochet in the next row. But this is kind of the length. So I would recommend you to just do the first row of half double crochets and then hold it onto your hand once more. To see if you maybe want to add some more chains to make it longer or do some less to make them shorter. So we're going to start with our first row, which means that we are skipping what we have on our hook, of course, and the first stitch, and start our half double crochet into the not first, not second, but this third loop that you can see. And for a half double crochet, you want to take your yarn, go into the stitch, which for this row is this one right there. Now that you did go through the loop, take your yarn again, slip it through. You should have 3 left on your hook now. Take your yarn again and pull it through all 3, like this. And take your yarn again. Now you can see this first stitch you did in this loop, so now you want to go in this one, which means take your yarn, go through the next loop, pull through, and pull through all 3 that you have left on your hook. Again, into the next one. As you can see, the stitch that we did is in this one, so go into this one next, like this. And now continue until you arrive at the end of the row. Make sure to not do them too tight, but also not too loose, just so you can go through all loops comfortably and that they are similar to each other in the end to make it look very even. I'm about to finish this first row. Make sure to take this very last stitch. This is going to be a bit harder to see in the upcoming rows, but don't worry, I'm going to show you, because it's very important to always take the very last stitch, because otherwise your straight square will get like smaller and smaller if you miss the last stitch. But don't worry about that, I'm going to show you. So now that we finished our first row, we can again hold it on top of our hand, like this. And as you can see, it got a bit shorter just because the half double crochets are always tighter than the chain ups that you do in the beginning. but also not a lot. So this is how my or your hand warmers are going to look in the end. Personally, for me, it's fine. If you feel like it's too long and you want it to be shorter, open it up again and take a few less chains, like the number that you feel are now too long, you can count and then take them out. Or of course, if you want them to be longer, you can just add a few more. But I'm happy, which means we're starting with the second row. And for that, we are always, for each start of a new row, chaining up 1 and flipping our project around. And from now on, we are only crocheting in the back loop of the stitch. So this means when you have the piece laying down in front of you, you can twist it to the top to see the V parts. And when talking about stitching into the back loop only, we are talking about this one. This is the back loop of a stitch of the V part, and we're only going to crochet through these to create this ribbon effect. It almost looks knitted and it makes it very stretchy, which it has to be to fit comfortably around your wrists. So when starting with a new row, we are also always crocheting into the first stitch already. This is not the one that you have on your hook or which is right there, but this one. So start with your half double crochet by taking your yarn and twist your project a bit so you can see the V part. This makes it way easier than crocheting like this because like this you cannot see the back loop, but just twist it a bit so you can see the back loop. Take your yarn and as you can see, not this one on your hook, not this V part that is the closest to your hook, but this one into the back loop only, slip through, you have 3 on your hook and do your half double crochet. Oops. Like this. Now we are always going to crochet into the back loop only. And also, as you can see, I don't hold my project here. I hold it very close to the V and really twist it to me so I can see and hold it very tight and secure so it doesn't move and it's easier to take like the back loop only. Just a little tip for you guys. So I'm gonna continue with this until I arrive at the middle of the row, and then I'm gonna explain to you my favorite way to switch colors seamlessly. So just continue and meet me wherever you want to change colors next. You can also, of course, add a few more rows of the color that you're now crocheting with. So now that I arrived here, I want to change colors. I want to change to this dark midnight blue color. And for that, I now did my last half double crochet, as you can see. And I'm gonna cut off my yarn, like right here, like this. And gonna take my new yarn. And now that I have the end here, I'm gonna leave it hanging. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go back through these 3 loops where I pulled through my latest yarn. And I'm gonna pull through exactly here the new yarn. So just take it on the hook, pull it through. And now what you can actually do is you can pull your old yarn through. Pull everything a bit tighter, and now you want to crochet around this yarn. So when starting your next half double crochet, you want to go through the back loop and also take like the leftover yarns and put it on top and crochet around it. So as you can see, it's like in the middle of my stitch. And like this, you are going to like crochet them into the piece already, which doesn't leave you with thousands of like yarn ends hanging on your project, because we are already crocheting it into the piece while crocheting it. So always crochet around it. If you want it to be extra secure, which I always do, you don't have to do it, but for me, I am going to do 2 knots with the yarn ends. So I pull them very tight, not too tight, but tight enough so that when I pull this apart again, the knot disappears in between the stitches that I did. So as you can see, there's no knot left to see because it's somewhere in between here. So continue crocheting around until you feel like you did enough sewing in. Because we don't have to crochet all this into, I just like to leave it hanging so I can pull and crochet around it for maybe like another 5 stitches. And now make sure to pull on the yarn ends like this so that it's like straight in the middle. And you can also pull a bit tighter, cut off the excess yarn. And now when you pull again, it's going to disappear in between the stitches. So as you can see, the yarn ends are here right now. And then if I pull tight, it disappears in between these rows. So now I'm going to continue like this with my half double crochets until I arrive at the end of the row. Now that I'm here, as you can see, the last stitch is always very hidden. And as a little tip, which is a very obvious one, I like to, when I'm not sure if I already did get the last stitch, I like to just count. So for me, I started with 28 chains, which means we have 27 half double crochets in the beginning because we didn't chain up one more to start. So if you started with 30, you have 29 stitches. If you started with, I don't know, 40, you have 39 stitches in the first row. And now I like to count. And if I have it laying down like this, I only have to count like the V parts that I see. So I'm going to start here, which this is the first one, as you can see. It's a bit hidden. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 24, 26. So for me that I started with 28 chain ups in the beginning, I am left with 27 half double crochets in row 1, and now I only have 27. So this means that I still have one left to do, which is right here, this V part. And I personally like to go through both loops, like not only the back loop, which will be here. You can also do that, but for me I like a more cleaner look, and I feel like it gets a bit cleaner if crocheting through like both. I don't know. I just like to do my last half double crochet through both loops, and because it's like really hard to see sometimes that you have one missing, just make sure that in the first rows, to get to know the type of yarn you're crocheting with better, and to really see where the last stitch is, just count. Because in the end, if you did a mistake, you're gonna be very angry because you cannot change it in the end again. So just count sometimes. So now we're starting with the next row, which means we're chaining up 1, turning our project around and starting with our first half double crochet. It's a bit hard to see with the dark blue, but we're not going to crochet into this one on the hook or this very first one that you can see, but in this one right here in the back loop only. And from now on there's actually nothing left to teach you, because you now want to continue with these rows of half double crochet for around 18 rows. And continue just with these same stitches and the same beginning and the same technique for color changing until you arrive at row 18. And then we're going to meet again, because then there's a little change in the pattern. But for now, I'm gonna leave you alone. And if you need to look back at some of the things like finding the last stitch or starting a new row, you can always just skip back the timestamps. I'm gonna continue with this now off cam, and when I'm at row 18, I'm gonna meet you again. Okay guys, welcome back. I might have lied to you a bit, because what I just realized, I only crocheted 15 rows for now, and when I lay down my arm, it already fits. Like as you can see, it fits together on this side, and also here kinda, which means we have to finish the last row. And the last row is for the thumb hole. And if it doesn't fit for you now, just add a few more rows until it kind of fits together. I may have to open up another row because it should not fit already. I'm gonna open up one more row to show you what it should actually look like. So just make sure that, because it's a very stretchy material, that you don't crochet too much. And before we add the last row, it should kinda, like this, look like this. So it almost fits, but it's not too loose. So what we're gonna do now for the last row is, when you did your chain up and you want to start the new row, you are not going to add your half double crochets for like the whole row. We're only going to add a few stitches right there, which is going to be the part over the thumb hole, like right here. So for me, I'm just going to start half double crocheting. This is now row 15 for me, if you want to compare it. This is my third double crochet, and if I would want my hand warmer to be very down here, like to only go till this part of my hand, 3 half double crochets would be enough, but I want it to fit more like this. This means I'm going to add another one of my half double crochets, because this right here is going to be exactly here, and how many stitches you add is going to be the length of it. So maybe like this should be good, I think. Yeah, this should be good. So you want to leave a bit of extra yarn before cutting off the yarn, because we need this part for the connecting in the end. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I tend to just leave some more hanging just in case. I'm also gonna cut off this yarn ends that I have hanging and make them disappear. And now you're going to take the yarn that you want to use to finish the hand warmer. For me it's this one in combination with my mohair. And you want to add it to a part here. So this means you're going to start with a slip knot again. So make your slip knot like this. And now you want to count around 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you could start here in the back loop only. This would leave a hole like that. So I would recommend you to just add it here in the 6th chain, counting from there. Slip it through and actually chain up 2 to get the perfect height. And then the next stitch, back loop only, do your half double crochet. And continue for a few stitches. And now I would recommend you to try it. Like, you can just pull this a bit more loose and try what it would look like or feel like. And if you feel like it would be too tight around your thumb, you can open it up again and do your, like, connect the yarn, the new yarn, a few more stitches apart from this. But I think for me this is perfect. You can also, in the end, if you want the thumb hole to be not longer but wider, you can also add 2 rows right here and 2 rows right here without connecting them to make it wider. But in general, I like this way to do it. So I'm just going to continue crocheting until I arrive at the end of the row. Now make sure to get the very last stitch. I'm gonna go through both. So now what you want to do is you can pull this loop a bit up to make it secure, but don't cut it off yet, because we're going to flip our project around. so that the thumb hole is right here, and you're gonna flip this up just like that. And what you now want to do is this one, this loop that we still have where our yarn is still connected, this is going to be where we start connecting, and we're going to connect in this direction. So with this yarn we're going to connect until we arrive here, and then we're going to use this to connect it right there. So for connecting, you can either sew or use whatever stitch you want to use. I'm just going to quickly show you how I do it. So I'm going to pull this a bit tighter. So for the connecting part, you're always going to go to one of these loops from the front, which for the first one, it would be right this one. For the second one, it would be this one. For the third one, this one, you know? So only one of these loops on your hook. And from the back, you're always going to go through the back loop only. This one. This is the second one, third one, fourth one, you know? This for a little explanation. And for the first connecting, I'm going to go to this very first stitch right underneath the knot you did, right there. I'm going to take the loop from the still connected yarn, hold it a bit tighter, slip it through, and chain up one. And now we are starting with the connecting, which means take the first front loop, this one, twist it a bit, and take the first back loop. Pull it through. You have two left on your hook, and you want to pull the first one on your hook through the second one on your hook. Now take the second loop, second back loop from the back part, slip it through these both, and through this one on your hook. And just like this, you want to continue right until you arrive here. So continue like this. It makes an almost seamless look. I love it, but it still has a nice touch to it. So continue like this until you arrive here, and then I'm going to explain to you the rest. I'm almost at my last stitch, which means we have to actually cut off the yarn. So this is my last stitch. For this I'm going to go through both just to make it extra secure, and also on the back loop I'm going to go through both of the front and back loop. You can also do the back loops only, but I feel like it's a bit securer for the last stage, you know. So slip it through this one, chain up one. Now we can cut off this part of the yarn and pull it through. And then pull it very tight. And just like that, you've connected the first part. Now we're going to do the exact same for this, except now we have to count where we put it. So on this side, this is our first stitch. So we are going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 from here. So this is the first one, second, third, fourth. And in this fourth one, we are starting with the connecting. So taking the yarn, slipping it through, chaining up one, and now we're starting to connect, which means front loop only, like this one, and back loop only. Slip it through, front, back, slip it through. And for the last one, I'm gonna go through both, and both here, slip it through, chain up one, and slip through all the excess yarn that you still have left. And just like that, this is connected too. Now this is what it should look like. You can now try it on to see if it fits. Ah! Oh, it's so gorgeous. Of course, if you want to, you can use your excess yarn to add another trim right here, or you can add a trim here. I think I may be going to decorate it too, just like I do with my beanies. For now, I'm going to go find my needle to sew in these, and then think about maybe adding a little trim. Let's see. So I would like to add some details here. I think it would be cute to either use only white mohair and do like a little lacy trim here, or to actually do it similar to what I do to my beanies, like the bigger yarn, just like sewing it through. Wait, let me show you. Something like this I think could be cute too. I don't know, I don't have this yarn right now, so maybe I'm going to try to do it with white yarn, double layered, and then also do my mohair double stranded. I'm gonna just try. Maybe it's gonna look cute, maybe not, but let's try. So I'm gonna grab my yarn from the inside. Same with my mohair. Then I think I'm just gonna double layer it. Really don't know the length I should do. I'm just gonna eyeball it, like this maybe. And then double it, like fold it in half, like this, like both ends on one side. So now that I have 2 strands of mohair and 2 strands of cotton, I'm gonna just do another slip knot with it. And then I'm gonna do chain ups. I think this could look cute. Let's see. Because this makes out of 4 strands of yarn, even the thicker, fluffier strand of yarn, you know, it's like this. I think this around here could look very cute. Let's just see. With this technique, I also did like the details on the checkered sweater from my first ever yarn drop, from the black and white checkered sweater. That's like the same technique, like just if I don't have the fluffy thick yarn here, I just created my own. So I'm gonna crochet this until there's no yarn left. One more. Then I'm just gonna slip it through, pull it tight, and like this I've created like a strand of thick yarn. I hope it's enough for the trimming. I think it should be. And I'm gonna start at the back side with the connecting. I'm just going to slip it through. And then I'm gonna slip it, like I'm gonna take this and slip it through this very first loop. Like right here. And like this, it is connected, and we can randomly like wave it through the fabric. This is going to be a bit harder. Yeah. I think it could look cute. Let's try. So this is my little idea for the trimming. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? You can comment down below. I think it would look cute like here and also there, because I always do this also around the balaclava and around the beanie. So I think it's kind of cute like this. Let me know what you think. And also what I'm going to do is I have my little labels. These, and I'm gonna sew these on. I'm still not sure where, like maybe here or down there. Let's see.
When I close my eyes, ruthless
So this was the tutorial for these cute hand warmers, and I hope you're happy with your result. Can't wait to see your pictures and your recreations. That's always my favorite part, to get like pictures from you and see your mentions on Instagram or whatever. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video. And of course, if you're interested in getting more insights to my brand, there's maybe another vlog upcoming, but also you can subscribe to the newsletter. You just have to go to the website, to the BELINA website. I'm going to link it in the description, and you can get special little gifts. Maybe if you subscribe to the newsletter, you get a little perfect granny square pattern into your mail. Just make sure that you accept that we can send you mails. There's always like an exception mail coming first. And yeah, I can't wait for the next video. Can't wait to see your results, and can't wait for the next yarn drop. See you in the next video, and have a wonderful day. Bye.